will be the process when we come in. Okay, most days. We'll usually have a quicker warm-up. Here's the deal. You guys, again, like if you haven't figured it out yet, are going to get really comfortable working with each other and explaining to each other. Okay? What will happen? Gentlemen, I know. Okay? I will give you the answers. What I think are the answers. Sometimes there's some that are debatable. We'll talk about those as we go. What I would like you to do right now is not necessarily talk more in your groups. I know it's going to be hard because you're going to be like, I told you that all this is going to happen as soon as I show you. Right? And hopefully the more, those of you who kind of did this, and I heard this from one group, and this is what we're really trying hard to not do, is like, yeah, well, you're smart, and you said that this is the answer, so I'm just going to write it down, even though it doesn't make sense to me. Okay? And then when they were wrong, you're like, see? Right? Like, have a little bit of, if not confidence, at least courage to say, I don't think that's right. Okay? Because the worst thing that we could do is let someone go on being wrong and not speak up for our own self. Okay? So, that being said, number 150 square feet. If you don't have units, add them now. This is all about we can add to our homework. If there's problems that we missed, stay after, and that's what tutorial is for. Okay? Okay? We are going to be here today and tomorrow during tutorial. So if you have questions about the past homework, hey, whoa, hey, oh. If you have questions about past homework, if you want to work on tonight's homework and you want to come into tutorial to get that done, absolutely that's what it's for, okay? You're going to get lucky. We have 2 tutorial periods this week. As a quick side note before I move on, tutorial happens every week except when there's something, if we're missing school for some other reason. So like next week we don't have school on Monday. There's no tutorial or flex next week. Okay? Once, like a quarter or something, there's an early dismissal day. Like real early dismissal, not tutorial. And then there's no tutorial that week. So we have tutorial and flex every 5-day week. Every normal week we have tutorial and flex. If there's weird stuff happening, there's no other weird stuff happening. Okay? Just so you know. All right. So first 3. Please, you must have units. Yes, this is, like we talked about, how I want you writing square footage. What? I'm sorry? No, it's right here. There we go. 6 rules, $945. Hold on. Keep in mind which one you least are a fan of. We're going to choose one at the end. I will do 1 problem a day. Okay? All right. For 4, this is going to be the most difference. You could have had anywhere like within a couple, I don't know, 300 to 500 for area. If you're within 300 to 500 on either side of area, that's acceptable. I guess I should make these abouts. I'm sorry. Okay. The perimeter is somewhere within the 370 yards range. If you have a major issue with this, again, I will do 1 problem. Hold on. Hold on. Well, I'm not going to take questions. Okay. For 5, this is A, B, C, D. Area, perimeter, perimeter, area. Now, on A, you might have argued that A was perimeter because it was a wallpaper question, and that wallpaper question number 2 was perimeter. That's fine. Okay? So you could argue, you know, I'll show you my work. Ready? I thought it was perimeter because of number 2. And Mr. Hishu said, well, we're talking about area, wallpaper. And I said, oh, okay, I could agree with that. You could argue either way on this one. So long as you have like a reason behind your argument. If you just put perimeter because you guessed, like you're equally as wrong as if you had guessed and put area. Okay, like it's not. All right. And on number 6, a quick point. 1693 is wrong. If you put 1693, you are wrong. Because, okay, just to mention, rounding in here is not as straightforward as you might want it to be. Okay? A lot of you guys, for the rolls, okay? On number 2, the wallpaper question. The answer, when you divide it, you get something like 5.8, and we called that 6 rolls because if we're talking about purchasing wood or wallpaper or paint to cover an area, you have to err on the side of over. You cannot purchase a half a roll of You can't purchase a half roll of wallpaper. I had to go to speech class for 2 years when I was a kid. Don't make fun of me. I really did. I couldn't say my R's. You'll still hear it sometimes when I ask you to do your review worksheet. I gotta really focus. Okay, just be nice. What? Ralph? What? Don't confuse me. Okay. No. Are you talking about the brand? No, God. Oh. Okay. On number 6, though, when we divide here, so you should have divided 132,000 by 78, and you get this answer, 1692.31. The issue is, if you said 1693 square feet, okay, if you said 1693 square feet, here's the deal. At $78 a square foot, that would cost $132,054. That is more than you were allowed to spend, right? So 1693 is wrong. Like, even though you're like, well, it's close. What the heck? It's the same. It's still wrong. It doesn't fit the problem. Okay, just to note. Okay, which one do you not like? All right. All right. Let's talk about number 4. Okay. A. First of all, it asks for area. We all know area is the inside amount. So for the area, I would need to count all of these squares. When it got to here, I just said, well, this one probably like tacks onto there, and so these guys make 1 square. Okay? So when I count all of these, I ended up counting 66 squares. Okay? I counted 66 squares. If you counted anywhere from like 60 to 72, that's fine. Okay? If you counted, I don't know, 59, whatever, right? So we should have been close, like around 66 squares. Okay?
That's 60.
Here's the problem. That's fine. But the answer is not 60. Right? However many squares you counted is not the answer, because when we're looking at this, it's important to note down here you have this little scale. Right? So each of these squares is not just like 1 square yard. Okay? This is 10 yards by 10 yards. So what's the area of 1 square? Right? Chris and Malachi, zip. Each of these squares is 100 square yards. So whatever you counted on the inside, just straight up counting, whatever you counted on the inside would need to be multiplied by 100. So if I counted 66 squares times 100, I would get my answer of 6,600 square yards. We'll figure it out. Okay? Now, there's a bunch of different ways you could have estimated the perimeter. The way I did it was like this. Okay? I said, okay, I know these perimeters. If I'm looking at these squares, it is roughly a 1/4 inch. These squares are roughly a 1/4 inch. Again, we're estimating. So if I measure, that means each 1/4 inch is 10 yards. So if I measure about from here to here, I don't know, let's say there, okay? If from here to here, if that was about a straight line, I end up at roughly 3 3/4. Because again, this is 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. If I'm saying that's 3 3/4 inches long, and each quarter of an inch is 10 yards. I need to figure out how many quarter inches are in 3 3/4 inches.
15.
I don't know. Hold on. Okay. In 1 inch, how many quarters are there?
4.
Right? Same as a dollar, right? 4 quarters in a dollar. So this would be 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15. You were right. Okay. So this one would be roughly 15 yards. Oh, no, I lied. 15 squares. Because again, if I have 15 squares, what do I have to do? How much is each square?
150.
Each square is 10 yards. I would need to multiply. I could do the same thing for each side. Could do the same thing for each side. I quit. And I ended up with around 37 squares or 370 yards. For any additional questions, I encourage you to stay during tutorial. Okay. We will repeat this process on Friday. Okay? So don't you worry. All right. Let's go to our notebooks then. Underneath where you were just writing, I'm going to talk to you for about, 7 minutes. You got stuff to do. All right. So, underneath where you just were, just so you know, I'm not going to write in my notebook because I already did earlier. Underneath where we just were, when I write, you write. Shh. Hey, zip. Hush. If you don't have this written down, you're already falling behind. Here we go. Write it down. The quicker you follow directions, the quicker I can be done talking. Okay, today we are going to talk about polygons. We're going to give a rough definition of polygons. First of all, who can tell me what a polygon is? Mariah? Sorry, I heard from you. Sam? Okay, I'll take it. I'm going to change it a little bit, and I'm going to call it an n-sided shape. Sam said it's a shape with 3 or more sides. Sure, so it's going to be a polygon, poly meaning many. Okay, so like polytechnic, many technics. Okay, so it's any shape, really. When we're talking about a polygon, we are talking about any type of shape. And of course, when we are talking about a regular polygon, a regular polygon is where all sides are the same length. So for our purposes, we will mostly be always talking about regular polygons. When you think of regular polygons, I like to think they are nice polygons, like a stop sign. Okay, all the sides are the same, right? Math is in the front, people. Okay. These are polygons. Polygons. Just a general name for shapes. We're going to name a few. 3 and 4-sided polygons get their own fancy names, right? 3-sided polygon is what? Triangle. And we know 4-sided is? Ooh, no one said it.
Oh, no. Oh, quadrilateral.
There it is. Technically, 4-sided shape is called a quadrilateral, 4 sides. Okay, let's talk about the other names. What about 5 sides? Pentagon is a 5-sided shape. Pentagon is a 5-sided shape. Anyone know 6? There we go. Hexagon is a 6-sided shape. No. No. No, you're right on one of them. A heptagon is 7 sides. Yes, we know 8 is octagon.
And then nonagon.
There it is. That's what you said, right, Austin? Nonagon is 9. And what about 10?
Decagon.
Decagon.
What's a dodecahedron?
It's a
Uh,
20-sided shape.
No.
3D.
No.
It's a shape 3D.
No,
A
I'm not talking about
dodecahedron is a 12-sided shape. It's like a ball. Because dodecagon is a 12-sided polygon. A dodecahedron is like a ball.
Oh, I was thinking like a 20-sided. So what's that called? Like a 20-sided die for Dungeons and Dragons? It's like, what's the shape called?
I don't know. When I was in college, we had a math formal, and the theme of the formal was "It's not a ball, it's a dodecahedron." I had a hot date too, so just shut it. Okay, moving on. So these are some polygon names. Some of you looked ahead in your book already, and you'll know one of the big things that we're going to be talking about with polygons, especially regular polygons, in our last definition of the day is apothegm. 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 The apothegm is a line from the center to the midpoint of a side. Now again, right, some of us not so good on the word front. Right, you're like, that doesn't really mean anything to me. You said apothegm, now you're talking about midpoint. Blah, blah. Okay, so it's going to be easiest if we draw an apothegm. So I'm going to draw a nice regular-ish, close as I can get to regular, hexagon. Oh, come on. That's pretty good. Okay, so there's my regular hexagon. Now the apothegm is not like a radius. Okay, the apothegm goes from the center to the middle of a side. Okay, from the center to the middle of a side. It does not go to those corners. Right, that would be the apothegm, from the center to the middle of a side. It could go to the middle of any side, so long as you're not going to the corners. And again, that is called the apothegm. Okay, so last class we started talking about some area formulas. You guys already know the area of a triangle. You know the area of a rectangle, right? Quadrilateral. In fact, there's, parallelogram.
Hexagons by figuring out the area of the equilateral triangle beside it.
Yes, you could split this up into equilateral triangles, but even easier, it's pretty cool, I think. Regular polygons all have the same area formula. Okay, so the area formula for any regular polygon, it must be a regular polygon. Again, meaning that all sides are the same. The area for a regular polygon, I will write that the area is equal to the apothegm times the perimeter with a capital P divided by 2.
Why does it be capital P?
Because when we write area in perimeter formulas, we use capital letters. It doesn't, if you didn't write a capital P, it wouldn't be technically wrong, but again, this is a notation piece so that we can start to understand our formulas. Especially because here you'll notice capital A versus lowercase a. When I write this as a formula, I will just write A equals A times capital P divided by 2. Right? So it's important to know the difference. This A is not the same A, right? One's area, one's apothegm. So using a capital and lowercase helps us figure that out. Yes, sir?
Now I really want to know what the shape's called. Can I quickly look it up?
No. You can look in a second. No. We'll just do one example where you are finding the area. As an example, this is going to be a fun one. I want the area of the regular hexagon. So if I have a hexagon, oh, I almost had it. That's not bad. Here, I'll give it some like endpoints. I tried to draw it the other way. I got ahead of myself. Okay, supposing that's a regular hexagon, we're just going to kind of have to draw. Okay, yours is probably not that much better than mine. Okay, if the sides, let's just go both. If the side is 6 inches and the apothem is 6 inches, please, on your own, real quickly, without talking, give you everyone a second, please find the area of this regular hexagon on your own. Ask Julia.
Oh, I know.
Isn't that nice? All right, so please take a second to make sure you agree with everyone at your table. Again, if you got something different, probably say, wait a minute, whoa, how'd you do that? What'd you do? Or maybe you'll quickly go, oh, I forgot to do that. At your tables, go. I don't know. The answer? I don't know. Well, each side is 6 inches. So you, yes.
Then we have to find out
Your mom's a math teacher?
Yeah.
Where's she teach?
She teaches algebra, algebra 2, geometry.
Where at?
Franklin.
Really?
Nice.
Should ask her if she, wait, what grade? Where? Where she teach, what grade?
Yes, sir.
My mom
Oh, really? Should ask her if she knows the girl name.
We're having a family dinner night in like 2 weeks that I'm going to tell you guys about, and that'll actually be a perfect time because we would love to.
Name's like,
So if you want to just
well,
tell her
not
right now,
really
I'll get in
sister.
contact
She's like my
with her.
half sister.
Do you know what firm she's
Like,
with?
her name, I
she's
forgot
doing her
like
own
Jasmine.
finished design.
Awesome. What is it again?
Valentine, Jasmine Valentine.
Write it down for me, will you?
Now, since I know these formulas in the problem and everything now, now. I'm gonna work ahead of. I'm gonna start on.
As long as you're not working while I'm talking. I'm not helping you with that right now. I'll help you at 2:10. All right. Hopefully, those of you who got 18, figured out your ways. If I got 18, what did I do wrong?
You got the perimeter wrong.
6 inches. So when I'm finding my area, it's apothem times perimeter divided by 2. The apothem is 6. The perimeter is 36. 390, 108, 108. Am I close? Woo! 108 what? Am I good?
Square inches.
Thank you. If you put 108, you're wrong. Square inches. Yes, you must label. Hey. All right, so moving on from that, please locate the drawing. There's either 1 or 2 of the picture of a shed. What you guys are going to do right now, you can share it. What you guys are going to do right now, you have 10 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes.
10 minutes to what?
I'll go on when everyone in the back's quiet.
Shut up back there.
Shh, Arden, I'll do it. Thank you, though. Yes, I'll give it back. Okay? Each of you has a sheet of cardstock. Hush yourselves. Okay? That's thick paper. You get 1 per person. Your goal is, just by looking at this, is to try, in the 10 minutes that you have, is to try to make the most accurate 3-dimensional, don't draw it, the accurate 3-dimensional model of this shed. I'm going to walk around with scissors and tape if you'd like it. You have 10 minutes. Ready, set, go. You slide to the side of your table, please. So you're facing me. Like, whoop, around the corner. Whoop. Whoop. There we go. Max, you are welcome to do the same if you'd like some more room. It's okay. No, over this side though, Max. Sorry if I lied to you. Same thing I meant over here. There we go. There we go. After this activity, yeah. All right. Hold on. I'll explain. In your notebooks, you should be at the front. This is math. We just did some area stuff the day before. I'm starting a new page. Notice I started it with the date. You do not need to write all this down. What I would write is dot cards, and then you're going to write your response to these questions, okay? You don't have to write all this down. All right, the point of your notebooks, I will be doing notebook checks. It's mostly so that if in a few weeks I say I want to find your free write on dot cards, I should be able to pretty easily turn to your notebook, find the second, and find your writing about dot cards, okay? So, I want you guys to take a few minutes. In fact, I'm going to give you 3 to respond to these 3 questions. On Monday, waiting for you, Luis. On Monday, we did the game with the squares. I'll remind you, on Monday, you guys were not allowed to talk. You had visual, you could see each other's pieces, and you could trade each other's pieces, but you weren't allowed to talk, and you were to make 4 congruent squares. That's what we did on Monday. Okay, we're calling that the square activity. So my question is, which one was easier? You're writing it, was the dot cards or the square activity easier? What does that show you about how you learn? Right? What does that show you? Would you rather, almost, it's like a would you rather. Would you rather not be able to talk or not be able to see when you're working together? Okay, think about that. And lastly, how is this similar to helping someone with homework? All right, bringing it back to what does this have to do with our class, and how does this similar to helping each other? Just take 3 minutes, your own thoughts, no one else is going to read it. I'm not even actually going to ask you to share this information with your table just yet. Okay? Just 3 minutes to write down your thoughts on that. Red lights on. Deal them out. So some people might have a little more, 1 or 2 more, just depending. Okay? So you're going to deal them out so everyone has one. The big rule here is that you may not look at each other's cards. You may not show anyone else your cards. Okay? Your task as a team is to match all of the cards. So as I went, if I was in my group, maybe I had my handful of cards, I would choose one, and I would try and describe it to my team so that I got a match. Okay, so I'd try and say, well, this one has 20 black dots on it. Anyone who thinks they match, we would make a pile face down in the center of our table. Once I matched mine, the next person would go, describe one of their cards, matches, go to the center of the table, face down. Again, the big rule here is that you cannot look at each other's cards. Okay, so I can't show you my card, right? I can't show you my card. Major, did you have a question? At no point can you look at each other's cards. So you can say whatever you want. You may not look at each other's cards. Okay? You may not look at each other's cards. Even once you think you have a pair, you just need to set it face down, the pile in the center of the table. Okay? Please let us know. The first group to have all their cards matched wins. All right? Are there any other questions? Yes, ma'am?
What if you get on your matches? When we have all our matches or matches face down, are we gonna wait for it to come around and look at them, or do we
Hey, listen. When you think you have all your cards matched, just raise your hand and call one of us over. You can leave your piles face down. We'll check it out. All right. Deal them out face down. Hopefully, you gain a little bit of insight, at least considering whether it's easier for you to not see something or if it's easier for you to not hear something. Okay? I think I told you guys, I know for myself, if you were trying to tell me how to get to Miss Brewer's room, does anyone have her for English? Miss Brewer? It's too bad. Just kidding. Just kidding. She's great. If I was trying to tell you, or if someone was trying to tell me how to get to her room, and they said, okay, go down the hallway, turn left, and then turn right, and then turn left, and then turn left, and then go down the stairs on your left, and then when you get to the bottom of the stairs, turn right, and then turn left again, and here's a second door on the left. I would never get there. Okay? Because it's not I can't process information, or I'm very slow at processing information that way, right? But if you drew me a little map and I looked at the map, I was like, oh, okay, and then got a spatial awareness of where it was, I could get myself there, okay? That's just something I know about myself. So the question here that I want you guys we'll talk about as a class is really about how is this similar to helping someone? Why does it even matter if we learn differently? Okay. How is this similar to helping someone with homework? Right now as a class, how do you think it's similar? And also, why do you think we even did it? Why do you think we did it? Malachi.
Because when you're helping someone with their homework,
Cool. So Malachi's talking about when you're helping someone, you don't necessarily want them to copy your work, but you want to help them. And I think the same goes for when you're being helped, right? When you're being helped, you might want to just copy in the short term and be like, I just want to copy this down because Miss Stoltz is about to check my homework. But we all know, if we were realistic with ourselves, we all know we didn't learn anything in that experience, right? So the same thing Malachi is saying is the difference between, like when we were doing the ruler stuff yesterday. Oh, let me just see what you got and writing it down versus understanding it yourself, right? That's how we help people, and also like how we like to be helped. Two different things. Yeah, Raul.
I thought you gotta be patient with them, cause like, and help them, but don't cheat, which is like what we did in the activity.
You cheated in the activity?
Oh no, I said don't cheat.
Right, and I think all of you in here know, you're like, yeah, if we're really talking about learning, and if the goal is really to learn something, we know that cheating is not the way to do it, right? And there's times where suddenly you like question your character and you make a bad decision to cheat, but we know if we're talking about how we learn, we don't really learn anything by copying, right? Like it doesn't really help you in any way. Angelique.
I said that, like, when, like, if someone helped me with my homework, I would want them to give me examples, not like with the same problem, but like
Ooh.
with different numbers or something.
Right.
That'll help me.
So given another example, why is it important that we know how we learn? Why is it important that we know how we learn? Duke? Right, like your ability to advocate for yourself, that doesn't mean, what Duke's saying, it doesn't mean that all your teachers are going to teach how you learn. Right, we all in here learn differently, and that doesn't mean I'm going to ever be teaching exactly how you learn. But it does mean, in the very least, when it's one-on-one, that you can speak up for yourself and say, okay, you're telling me a lot of information right now, and I'm sorry, but I'm actually not following anything that you're saying. Can you show me? Right, or can you just show me, like Angelique was saying, oh, can you show me like an example of this? Maybe we could do a different example. Suggesting, like, help is a two-way street, right? It's not all on the teacher or the person helping you. It's on both of you to say, okay, here's how I learn best, and maybe I can help you how you learn best. Okay? So this is all going to be really important because every day when you come in, I'm going to give you guys some time in your teams to discuss your homework problems. Okay? So right now, we're going to start off with 10 minutes, and here's what I want you to do. Probably the first step, you guys will get to number 1. You'll probably share your answers at first, but if there's any difference, you need to be able to explain to each other how you got your answer, why you thought you should do it that way, and as a team, you guys have to decide which one is right, which one makes sense to you. If someone's saying something that doesn't make sense to you, ask until it does, or tell them it doesn't make sense. Okay, all of us in here, if you haven't got there yet, all of us in here will be right at some point. All of us in here will be wrong at some point. Okay? We have to be comfortable with each other to tell each other that. All right, so we're going to start out with 10 minutes to go over the 6. Your table should not only agree upon the 6 answers, but ideally all of you should know how we got those 6 answers. I will say that you could go ahead and save number 4 for last. That one's going to be the biggest difference. Okay, 4 is going to be the one with the most issues. All right, so please agree to your 6 answers as a table. You guys have 10 minutes.